week this week. Amazing. My favourite topic, mental health, confidence, self-esteem, all of that. I get to have a conversation with amazing people who know what they're talking about, who've got a point of view, who are going to share with you their wisdom, their experience. They're going to share it all with you. Come with me to the studio. Well, first of all, could you just tell us who you are and what you do?
My name is Brenda Shankey and I'm a mindfulness and meditation coach. I specialise in children and our youth. I work in the West End of London. I work with a lot of performers and I work with their confidence, with issues that are holding them back, like fear, anger, resentment, all of the things that take us into the darkness of mental health. I try and nip it in the bud before later life and give them strategies to get out of the situations quicker.
That's exactly why I needed to speak to you. Today's Mental Health Week, specifically around children and young people, when the word mental health comes up, what do you think about? What does mental health mean to you?
A system of thoughts in your head that create a physical reaction. And some of those reactions can be very unhealthy, i.e. we would all know about panic attacks and anxiety attacks. So the thinking mind, I call this, and the feeling body. Sometimes we have belief systems and thoughts that we genuinely believe to be true, where what I do is I challenge those belief systems, because a lot of the thoughts that we think aren't true at all. Like, I'm not good enough, I can't do that, they did that to me, therefore I'll behave this way. So it's getting people to see through a different lens, through being mindful of how we think, how we process the thoughts, and how that then goes into the body as a feeling. The most powerful part of information is we can change the thought process and change the reaction and the feeling and the behaviour.
So how do we get to the stage where we can take control and change the thought process? Because if it was as easy as changing the thought process, wouldn't everyone do it? What's the gap?
The gap is the one most powerful tool that we all have, which is our breath. Breathing. Breathing. If you look at the mind, it's the biggest muscle in the body. And the breath, well, it's so important that when it stops, we die. So what we do is we learn to use the two greatest parts of the body. And breathing is the only one thing that can give you the stillness of the mind. If you think we've 70,000 thoughts a day, everybody's mind is crazy, busy, doing. So we need to give them little breaks. I call them mind breaks. And to do that, you need to come in and breathe deeply and give that some space. And when you've got the space, then you can address the feeling and the emotion and the thought and have the power to go, stop. How can I change this that's best for me in this moment?
Wow. Breathing, it's something that we all can do, but I don't think I've ever had a conversation out of this week where we have discussed breathing. Anyone has said breathing.
And the biggest key to success, we talk about top performers and top athletes, is the total control in the mind. And to get that, they live in the quietness and the stillness and the knowing. So they don't listen to the fears and the angers, and they don't feed the worries and the upsets and the negative self-belief system. They feed the stillness, and in the stillness we see clearly and we make better decisions for us.
Fantastic. So what would you say then, working with so many young people who are in the performance world? So these are maybe the top athletes, the people that outsiders look at and go, they're super confident. These dancers, singers, actors, performers, they are really confident. That's the myth that a lot of outside people see. So what's going on in the minds of these performers who are looked at as the elite athletes who've got everything together? What's really going on?
When you're in elite status, you've got extra pressures because you've got kind of things to live up to, and you're much, much harder on yourself. Your expectations are harder. Your drive is harder. Your kind of vision in the mind, you set yourself up for such big goals. And what I try to say is, no, when you live in this moment as your best self, then every day you create better tomorrows. So sometimes it's not about putting the pressure on when I get the top role, when I'm the best singer, when I'm the best performer. It's about being your best now, in this moment. And yes, visualizing and creating your goals for the future, but taking the pressure off. All teens and young adults now, they just put so much pressure on themselves. And I say, where's the fun in your life? Where's the joy? Where's the happiness? Where's the acceptance? And it makes it just a little bit easier.
I love that. I really wish I had that when I was a dancer. I really think that's great for anybody, just to live in the present moment and make the present moment your best, and know that you get a chance to do something else next moment, but enjoy this. And too often I think that a lot of us, we're all looking at everything's the future, when I'm this, when I'm that, when I have that. And so what would you say to anybody listening who is a parent or has young people in their life that they're trying to empower and fuel? How can adults support young minds when it comes to mental health? What can we do as adults
to give young people that confidence and safety? A lot of our fears and worries are because we feel unsafe. We create, and that's in our minds. That, because if you look at us as a society, we all live in very safe environments most of the time. So if you look at the fear-based minds that trigger our anxiety body and our response system and the fight or flight, look, it's always the language in the mind. And so it's coming down, and I always say, having a court case, imagine that the child is giving the evidence to a judge. We need evidence to support our thinking mind. And if you do that, most of the time I'll say, okay, so what are you thinking? And they'll say, I'm not good enough. And I say, but where is the evidence? Who told you that? That's a thought, but it's a negative thought. And we all do this, when you go into the thought and feed it, I can't do that, I'm not good enough, they'll laugh at me, they're talking about it. It gets bigger. So therefore, the feelings in the body gets bigger. And then we freeze. We believe them to be true, and it stops us. It freezes us in that day, in that moment, and we think, I can't go to school, I can't do that performance, I can't speak to my friends. And all because of a negative thought that started with one, and you ruminated and gave it power. So it's saying, okay, that's the thought. What evidence do I have? Breathe. I always say, for 3 breaths in and out, come into the breathing body, really focus on your heart and your lungs and your lung center. And for that moment, it will take the energy and the attention off that negative thought. And then in the second moment, think, okay, do I really need to think this and feel this in this moment? Can I let it go for the present? Can I change it?
I love that. I absolutely love that. That makes so much sense. And I think that's easy to teach to a 5-year-old. I think we could teach that to a 5-year-old, definitely.
Absolutely. They get it so easily. And it's about emotional intelligence. And this is the thing I've been passionate about for years. If we could teach emotional intelligence to our children, and the reality of that, like how to deal with anger and jealousy and rage and fear and upset and disappointment, and give them the tools to cope with that, we can absolutely lessen the mental health problems in the adult child.
Yes, wow.
If I only knew what I knew now, as a child, I'd have had years of no mental health and self-torture, because it's all self-torture.
Self-torture. And do you know what, as a mum raising 2 little boys, sometimes I feel like I know I need to be conscious in the moment with you, but I don't actually have the tools to give you. So if a child is, let me get some advice, because anyone else can use it. So if a child is angry, really angry, so I see my son's angry, so I know what to say. I say, how can I help you? What's happening? And then he says, I'm just so mad. What other things can we do when we can visibly see our child is furious? We've been able to ask them, how can I help? And they're saying, I'm just so angry. What can I do? What can I say in that moment to help?
I always say, I teach a great thing called the traffic light system. So in that moment, stop, breathe into your belly, breathe in, and then breathe the anger out your nose like flames. And then, where is the anger? What does it feel like in your body? What do you need to say to the anger? Because when they see the anger or the fear or the worry as an identity, it lessens the enormity of it. Okay, anger, why am I angry today? And you have a conversation with the emotion. Okay, I'm angry because blah, 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 blah. And then go, okay, so what does the anger say back? Do you need to be angry? How can we get through this? And you're talking, so you're mentally giving the mind and the body a diffusion of that rage that people can't verbalize.
Oh, I love that. So just let me recap to make sure.
In the traffic light, which is when he sees anger, he sees red at the traffic light. That's stop. Then amber is get ready, breathe. And then you go breathe. So what would you like to say to the anger in the get ready? And then green is the letting go when we're finished with the process.
I love that. So we've got red, amber, green. Your child is visibly angry. You say, we're on red now. Let's stop. Right, now we're on orange. Let's breathe.
Yes.
Now we're moving to green. The only way you can let it go is you need to tell anger what's going on.
Absolutely.
Say it out loud.
Yeah.
You say it, and then you say, right, now we can let it go. And then hug and stuff.
Yeah. And it's what it is expressing to the child not to be afraid of their emotions, to address them in that moment, to go, it's okay, Mom, I'm angry today, but it's okay to be angry. I need to express this feeling or thought in my mind and body. And then once they feel the freedom to express, again and again, that they know, they diffuse the situation quicker and quicker until they don't need to react. So a little 5-year-old made this. So getting them again to have around the house, I get them to make, so they have the signposts around the house so that every day they're getting memory recognition of, stop, breathe, decide and go. Stillness is the key to success. I work with top professionals and people at the top of their game. And this is the most simple, successful tool ever. Stillness. Learn to be still.
Love that. Fantastic takeaway. Learn to be still.
Be still. Keep it quiet. Keep that shut down and keep that pouncing with love.